Alright, to start off this match, we have the Robina, the Dimensional Fissure, and the Pot of Extravagance. So of course we activate Extravagance first. We're on to another Extrav and evenly matched. You want to make sure you activate Fissure before you start summoning, just in case they have Havness. So you don't want to summon Robina, they chain Havness, then they start milling without you having the D-Fissure up. Because with this up, they probably won't summon the Havness, or if they do, they're going to end up milling 3 into the banished pile instead of the graveyard. So this rotation is pretty standard. We have to search Trap. We can't extend further with the second M pin or bring Map or anything, just because we can't extend further with birds. So we're gonna have to hope that this setup is good enough. The opponent starts off with the Foolish Burial of Goods, dipping the Celiac and grabbing a Sharon off that. They try to bait out the evenly matched, and I don't think Tyr usually plays evenly, so I opted not to activate my Dreaming Town, and sure enough, that was the right call. The opponent is going to try for a Baguska here, so upon summon of their final or their second level 4 monster, we're going to chain the Dreaming Town, go rotation for Eaglin and Robina, bring out the Empin and use the Trap to banish to eclipse the opponent's field, or Book of Moon the opponent's field, and then we're going to further extend with the Stree in order to go into Apex, tributing tributing the Stree and the Empin for Apex. But that was enough for the opponent to just scoop after that. D-Fissure can win you matches single-handedly against Tyr. So looking at that opponent's deck list, what's funny is I didn't activate the Dreaming Town because I didn't think they had evenly matched, but sure enough, this person in their Tyr build is indeed playing evenly matched. So that was a risk that I guess paid off, but yeah, definitely could have got evenly there, which isn't great. But this is the opponent's deck list that we just faced. Alright, this match is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to include it anyways. So going second here, this is not that bad, assuming we can unbrick, just because we do have the Shifter. Sure enough, the opponent is on Tyr. Now you may think, okay, you shouldn't really Shifter that. You want them to extend a little bit and then Shifter something that's actually meaningful to start banishing some of the Tyr names. But they do end on nothing. I don't think this is necessarily a bad Shifter because you are stopping a lot of their plays and it gives you free reign to set up fully. So we thankfully unbricked with the Pot of Duality. We were able to get Map. We got Advent in rotation as well. And with this setup, now we have all birds in rotation because Robina will search Toucan, we have the Stree, and then we obviously have Eaglin as well. So this looks pretty good for us. We can't extend further off of a second tribute monster because we can't get another tribute monster to our hand right now. So we're just going to search Trap, bring back the Robina, and summon Toucan to get Advent. Now obviously I should go Battle Phase here and attack, but for some stupid reason I end up setting my field. Just again, you're playing so many games, you're just mindlessly not paying attention, and I get evenly matched, so punished appropriately for a stupid misplay. So I opt to keep Trap here, and I'm thinking like, is there any real way that I can stop this? The opponent only does only have 2 cards, and they don't mill good off Sharon. Well, I guess they mill okay. Like they mill Havness, and so okay, they milled good off Sharon, I guess. So they do bring Merly to their hand, and they have Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos is going to bring another Tyr name to their hand as well. They haven't used their normal summon yet. They got Merly, and they're going to probably bring Rhino. Oh no, they bring Merly there. Sorry, they brought Rhino off the Celiac then. So our play here is, yeah, just go into our birds, go into Apex instead of Empin, because we have the DD Crow, and Apex will stop the normal summon Rhino, is what I'm thinking. And I'm also going to banish the Trap to eclipse their field to prevent any extension with Kit Kalos. They sure enough summon Rhino, we negate it. Rhino's effect is going to activate to send the Merly to the grave. And then we're going to have to DD Crow that, which is going to stop the opponent's play. And then we can go full setup next turn. And the opponent realizes that and they scoop. So despite the huge misplay and going second, we are able to somehow claw back and take that one. Opponent's deck list, again, pretty standard tier list. They are playing 2 Gameciel and 3 evenly matched. So kind of similar to the previous guy who was playing 3 Kaijus and 2 evenly. So that's something I guess we're starting to see a little bit more of here. But other than that, nothing else really to take note of. I guess maybe the 2 tactics, but everyone's on tactics playing Tyr pretty much, and 3 Foolish Burial Goods as well. Alright, to start things off in this match, pretty good hand. We have the Robina, the Shifter, and the Prosperity. All these cards are actually really good, so we're going to obviously start with Prosperity, see if the opponent has a response. They do indeed activate Max Seed. Now we change Shifter. We have to change Shifter obviously because if Prosperity resolves, it goes to Graveyard, meaning Shifter is offline. But this is nice because this gives us a Stree/Ryza target. But anyways, off of the Prosperity, we do opt to search Goldsark. Make a mistake here, should have activated Goldsark to banish Toucan, bring Toucan back, because if I did that off this Empin, I can actually search Map, and when I search Map, activate Map, reveal Toucan, banish another Empin, summon Toucan, bring back the banished Empin off Map, tribute off this Empin on the field and the Toucan that I summoned off Map, and just get an extra spell in rotation. But regardless, the opponent still scoops there, so we take that match. let's get on to the next one. We go to the next match, just taking a look at that opponent's deck list. Fairly standard tier build, only 2 Scream though, and they are running the Bridge of Salvation and 3 Celiac. So other than that, pretty standard. And I guess they just didn't want to play through Shifter and a flow board, so they scoop. Now we can go on to the next match. So up in Diamond rank, it's actually pretty hard to win going second, I find. Probably just need more practice and getting better, but thankfully the opponent bricks for once, and our hand is a little bricky right now, but we do have the Pot of Prosperity to dig a little deeper and hopefully unbrick. And if we do unbrick, we have Defissure to help shut down what's likely Ishizu Tearlaments because they summon Ghidorah. And sure enough, we do dig into a Robina, which is really good, so of course we're going to take that, but I think the opponent realized, and they just didn't want to play, and they just scooped it up. So taking a look at this opponent's deck list, they're only playing 2 Max C, they're playing the Aerial, 3 Gameciel Kaijus, and 2 Evenly Matched, so if they bricked, I guess this is why you don't want to play these cards and you want to play more of a standard tier build, because, yeah, you need that consistency. Match, our opening hand is pretty good, hopefully we can unbrick with a Prosperity. In this situation, you don't want to activate Extrav just because you do need to dig a little bit deeper to hopefully unbrick. We are obviously going to change Shifter once we see the opponent has no response. And, Extrav would have been okay in this scenario because we would have had Advent and Crow. We use Advent, Banish, Crow, bring Map to hand. But definitely it's worth digging a little bit deeper with Prosperity still. So using this hand, we do bring the Toucan to hand with the Robina since we already have Eaglin in hand. And off of Empin, we're actually going to search Map, and the reason for this is because we're not going to normal summon off Empin. We're going to activate Map and then reveal the Toucan, banish another Empin, and then bring that Empin back to hand with the Toucan, tribute both the monsters on field, bring out another Empin. So now we have both Empins in rotation, and the first one was banished, so it makes it easier to bring back with the Toucan. And this way we get Map in rotation as well as search Trap off the second Empin. So that's full setup basically for us, which is really good. The opponent revealed that they're on Swordsoul, so props to this guy for playing something other than tier or a banish deck like Exo Sisters, Floowandereeze, and I don't know, something like stun decks or something that you see as well. But unfortunately, going second with this setup is pretty hard for Swordsoul to break. So they are going to opt to bring out the Longyang and the Moyi off the Ecclesia, and we're going to instantly try to snipe that token. They can't do anything else right now in response because we're still resolving the birds, so they can't synchro, obviously. We're going to go ahead and summon Empin by tributing the token. This leaves them on no tokens. Unfortunately, Trap is banished, so we can't use the Eclipsing effect because of D-Shifter, but we have 2 Empin and an Apex in rotation that can utilize the Unexplored Winds to tribute the opponent's field. There's nothing else that they can extend into, and so they just scoop it up there. Taking a look at this opponent's Diamond Swordsoul list, they are opting to play 3 DD Crow, 1 Veiler, 3 Ash. They obviously got the Protos. They're playing double Called By still, 2 Talons, and just 1 Imperm. So interesting list for sure. Anything spicy in the extra deck? Just maybe this Virtual World card, I guess. Only 2 Monks. But other than that, pretty standard. And Crimson Blader, so that's interesting. But yeah, I guess this is how Swordsoul has adapted to play against tier. Pretty interesting. Alright, so at this point, I was only 2 matches away, or 2 wins away from Diamond 1, and I was like, it's been letting me go first a lot. I imagine I'm going to start going second soon, and sure enough, for this match, I'm going to have to prove that I can beat whatever deck this is going second. Now, it's not tier, and our hand would have been good, assuming we can draw into something with Extravagance if we went first. But this opponent's on some Vernusylph, Earth, probably Adamancipator, right? Which is a very, very strong deck still, don't get me wrong. Going first, the deck puts up like 7 or 8 interruptions. I actually have a short on my channel where the opponent put up, I think 7 or 8 interruptions, and then we Dark Rulered them and won the game. But I don't play Dark Ruler anymore, so that's really bad. This setup, Gallant Granite gets the Block Dragon. They're going to send Block Dragon to the graveyard. I am going to force them to put it back in the deck by activating DD Crow. Could have waited for them to activate this and banish the cards to summon it back. I just didn't know the interaction. I don't know if I'm able to respond yet or whatnot, or if it's just one motion it comes back and whatever. I'm just I'm not risking it. Let me just get it off the field right now, because if they resolve this is all of their extension. Block Dragon is how Adamancipator plays. So if you get it out of the equation, there's not much they can do. So I was just like, whatever. I shotgun the DD Crow there, which is funny because in my videos I say, don't shotgun your DD Crow, but I've done it twice now. But hey, it's worked out, I guess. So yeah, the opponent is able to extend a little bit, bringing some cards back up to the field. And this is the benefit of playing Floowandereeze in a tier 0 meta. They think I'm on Tearlaments, right? Why wouldn't they think I'm on Tearlaments? So they actually go for Abyss Dweller. This board this board is nothing right now. And we put the Block Dragon back into the extra deck. They have no resources in grave. They've used one of their shufflers already. They got one more attached to the Granite, which they can use on their next turn. So, and they have one card in hand, which we know is a Vernusylph card, which they sent to grab a Kelbeck. So we're in like good shape here, assuming we can draw into something with Extravagance. So again, looking at this setup, the opponent is able to use this during our turn because it's a trap card to send the Kelbeck to mill 5, which could trigger some stuff for them, which is a little scary. But we have the Fissure, so we're good. So yeah, draw phase, they're going to activate Trap, call some Exosister card, I think, because again, they're not afraid of Tear since they have Dweller. So this setup here tries to protect them against like multiple decks, which is risky, but hey, I mean, they're in Diamond too, so you know, it's working for them. We draw Evenly Matched, which is pretty strong. It still doesn't reveal what we're on, by the way. Oh, sorry, they didn't activate Trap yet to discard. They only activated it during our draw phase. We're going to go into Extravagance, draw 2 cards, and I thought for a second, I'm like, there's no way I just bricked with Extravagance too. And then I was like, oh, no, thank God, Terraforming. Now they're going to activate Gravekeeper's Trap, because yeah, the effect is during the main phase. Discard this Kelbeck, and I'm just like, bro, if they mill my map, I lose, because I need to search for map off Terraforming. And I described in my decklist video, I played a match where I drew Terraforming after the opponent milled 5 of my cards, and one of them was map, and then I drew the Terraforming for turn after, you know, going second. So I'm just like, dude, if this guy mills my map, I'm just gonna be so upset. So they search for a Vernusylph card, and then they're gonna trigger the Kelbeck. So obviously I didn't mill map. So we look here, we mill the Empin, which is actually okay, because again, we can banish it with Stree potentially. But again, they do have that Shuffler that is currently attached, so it's not usable right now. So if we are able to get a Stree, we can banish Empin and bring it back with Toucan. So yeah, double D-Fissure, which again is actually good since we have one in hand, so we're not going to draw these as additional bricks. Dreaming Town, which can be helpful because... Or sorry, not Dreaming Town, geez. Unexplored Winds, because again, this is another target for Stree that we can banish, or force the opponent to shuffle back into our deck when they get additional Shufflers in grave. And an Eaglin, which isn't great, but it's fine because we're about to search map. As long as we didn't mill the map, that's fine. So I go battle phase, and then I activate Evenly Matched. The opponent opts to keep the Gallant Granite. I activate D-Fissure. I activate the map. I reveal Toucan, banish Robina. And from here, it's standard fare. I have to make sure, because I have nothing to target with Toucan in the banish pile. I summon Toucan. I target Robina. I do not activate Robina's effect. Otherwise, Toucan will fizzle. I'll lose the summon. So you don't want to do that, but it technically would be fine since we still have our normal summon for turn, but it would just make Toucan fizzle, so don't do that. Just activate Toucan, don't activate Robina. You don't need to chain block. So Robina comes to hand, okay, standard interaction here. We go into Ryza. I thought for a good 30 seconds or so, and I'm like, let me Ryza, put the Gallant Granite back into their extra deck, give them like a max C to draw, and that'll put them on max C. The Vernusylph card that they brought to hand, and they have a Grave Shuffler in deck, and I'll have Dreaming Town because I'm gonna summon after I summon the Ryza, I'll be able to set the Dreaming Town that I have in hand already, which will allow me to play during my opponent's turn and bring out Ryza again to continue locking them. So the opponent didn't know I had Dreaming Town, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, it was pretty much GG's at that point. So the Master Duel algorithm was with me during this one, making me go second. I mean, Adamancipator is usually pretty tough to go against, but yeah, it looks like they're playing a very small Adamancipator package, but still the full set of interruptions in the extra deck. But regardless, yeah, Vernusylph, Adamancipator, this is the list. Haven't seen this too much, only one of the Millers, but all the Grave Shufflers, Sekka's Light, which makes sense since they're all monsters in this deck. Thankfully, Block Dragon is at 1. You have to deal with that card for sure. They ban this card, please. Lava Golems for breaking boards, it looks like. So yeah, pretty interesting deck list. They're playing the Gravekeeper's Trap setup, which I think is pretty strong. I would probably say they should go with Exchange of the Spirit too to lock up the graveyard, but again, I've never played this deck, so I don't know. But yeah, interesting deck list.